All right, so today I want to talk about tools. So I'm back into some sticks and bricks out of the mountains. And my tools are my electronics. So my computer's in the shop, and I don't have the Wi-Fi password to my spare computer. So we're not going to have the names because I don't know how to get on there with my phone, and I can't read them while I'm on Facebook. So that's happening. But we'll be there in spirit, and it's kind of like putting stuff in a bag. You don't have to know what the bag is. We'll still work and do the healing even if we don't read your name. But while I was up in the woods, I had my electronics. So I have my inverter, my converter, my batteries, my car, my van, I have my awning, and then to do my awning for my van, I have to like put out this thing and put poles and then put stakes in it. And to hammer the stakes in, I use this tool. And this is my father's ice pick. So talk about global warming and stuff. He would snowshoe in on July 4th to with his father to clean out the spillway so that the dam didn't break up in the high Uinta Mountains, because that was my grandfather's job, was to take care of the reservoirs. So he had these tools, and I thought, wow, this is pretty cool. I should like probably clean it up and oil it, because it works just fine as a hammer. This part of it works fine as a hammer. I just hammer the tent stakes in. And then I don't have to carry a lot of tools, because it's also other things you can do with ice picks. You can dig, break up the soil with it. And I thought, okay, so what kind of tools do we have as distance healers? And the main tool that I teach in this particular group, I have a gazillion tools, having done this for 40 years, having done energy medicine for 40 years. But the tool that I use for this group is a spinning meditation. And I thought, okay, so, this has the energy of my father, maybe even my grandfather on it. Probably just my dad. Should I take better care of it? Should I, when I use it, I feel connected to him. And then I thought, how do I use my spinning meditation tools? And I thought, well, actually the hammer analogy is not quite the right one. Even though it is a technique, it actually becomes more than a tool. It becomes more than a tool that you take care of and you revere and you understand its history and all that. To me, when we create our spinning meditation, we're actually giving birth. The analogy is more to a plant or a child. Probably more like a child, something with consciousness. Now, everything has consciousness. This cup has consciousness, not human consciousness, but every form creates a consciousness. This ice pick has a consciousness, but the consciousness of our image cycling or our spinning meditation, those don't have to be the same, is not static. It's morphing all the time. And you could say at some level this is also morphing, but that's another topic. I think for just our three-dimensional metaphor that I'm trying to reach for is thinking of our spinning practice like a child that we give birth to, and then it takes on a life of its own. You can get in touch with the livingness of an ice pick or the livingness of a cup, but the livingness of a child, I think, is a better metaphor, because they reproduce, they grow up, they go off to college, they do all these things. They annoy you, you love them, they love you, you hate them, they hate you. There's all these, it's a very, very complex relationship with the spinning. And so my little tidbit, my little tip is that if you want your spinning to work for healing, is to think of it as a living consciousness that you give birth to, that then you become curious about its true nature. So we're going to be doing a spinning meditation in a few minutes when we do the actual healing. And the spinning is something you create in your mind. So you create it, you give birth to it. And you can, and you give it a job, you give it, you create it for a certain function for healing. All right. And I like to think of the function of my spinner, whose name is Sparky, is to, first I name it, and you can name yours too. You can think of a name right now, it can change. And I've given it the job to be a way of, like a portal to another dimension that allows an opening to the dimension that is, it's like the grace of the divine. It's divine, it's in through us there, but we're somehow blocked from it. And we've given this spinning image the job of being a portal or a tool to open us to healing. All right. And I think it's important that we make this tool our own. So it's a little different than asking a deity to support us, because it is a self-created thing. It's closer to us. And with cancer, the self is so very, 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 very important in the healing. It's almost like the self isn't present fully. And so the cancer is just reaching and reaching and reaching. And this thing that we create ourself, we can ask gods, if you're religious and all that, you can ask them to supervise this process. But this is something that you're doing in your own head. And so it's an extension of you, your individuality. It's like when you spin your meditation, it's yours, it's not mine, it's not anybody else's. Okay, but when we pray to God or Jesus or, I don't know, Buddha or whoever you like to pray to, those are usually more general things. They're like in charge of like vast parts of humanity, even angels and things like that. They're usually in charge of a lot more than just us. But our spinner is something that we have for us. So to avoid having a dead ritual that doesn't work very well, this whole process that we're going to go through in a few minutes is a living ritual. And we're working with living parts of ourselves. So when I ask you to imagine things, if you imagine it the very same way all the time, it's sort of dead. It's sort of like talking to somebody and always saying the same words. It's dead. When you talk to somebody, you want to have a back and forth and see what's new. The same thing with this. You want to have, it needs to be a living meditation. And the tool, one of the tools other than the magic guided visualization, is this spinning meditation. And we want to have it be a living relationship to it. And the best way I can think of to nurture a child of mine is to love it. So I actually love Sparky. I love this child of mine. I also love Abby and Phoebe, my physical children, and my granddaughter. And I have lots of other people and friends that I love. But I also love Sparky. And whether I'm doing rapid image cycle, and I love every little bit of it. So I love its speed. I like how it's speeding today. I like if it has more than one of them today. I like what color or sound or it just, sometimes, or its location. It's like, I'm just so interested in it because I love it. So as we turn on our spinners today, I know maybe as you're creating it for the first time, it may feel very technical, but I'd invite you to open your heart to this process. So whether you've been spinning for decades like me, or if you've been spinning just like this is your first idea of it, is that we're entering into a loving, living relationship to this creation in our mind, and that will help it work. If you're watching this on YouTube, we're going to go into a more private visualization right now where we're going to do a live distance healing, which is free. And all you have to do is join the Spirit Gate Cancer Support Facebook group. All right. And because it's free, I would ask for donations of all sorts. One is to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, even if you're watching this on Facebook. The other is to buy my book and comment on Amazon. There is another way, Energy Medicine for Pets with Cancer. That's everything to do with pets also applies to people. It's my primer that I have. I think I have all my human patients get that and read it because it helps a lot. What other way? Oh, there's a donations page. Maybe my assistant will put that link on here. Just to have some sort of exchange of energy. I think it helps.